What is going on, people? Today we're going to talk about the best range heroes that you can use for your marches. Now, this is typically just your range solo march or rally march or whatever it may be, but I do know that some of you use other heroes specifically on mixed marches depending on your choices. But today what we're going to do is we're going to rank the worst to best range heroes specifically that you can use in your march. Now, we're going to start with some of the worst choices that I can see people use, and then all the way up to the absolute best. So, one caveat is that I will not be using any of the 11k heroes for specific reasons. First of all, I don't have any of them, so I can't really use it. And second of all, they're 11k heroes. Like, if you have them, they're going to be the best that you can use for that specific type. So, just keep that in mind. With that being said, we're going to start with the D tier. I won't use F tiers because I feel like heroes are good in one way or another. So I don't want to put any hero on F because all heroes are useful. But D is pretty horrible. Number 1, Trickster. Trickster is a range hero and has absolutely no boost whatsoever. The only thing that Trickster will bring to you is the squad attack. That's about it. So if you're using Trickster, that basically should mean that you have absolutely no other choice, and Trickster is the only thing that you can use. So when it comes to some of the worst range heroes that you can use for your march, Trickster is definitely up there. Number 2 on the D list is Boommeister. Yes, I've seen Boommeister on marches. Let me tell you, Boommeister, all of these stats, they are passive. You will not gain anything from him being in your march. Kind of the same as Trickster. The only thing you're going to gain from him is his squad attack. That's about it. So if you're using Boommeister, it should be just like Trickster. It is the last thing that you have. Mostly should be like newer accounts that don't have any heroes whatsoever. That's the only time that you should be using Boommeister in your range walks. And if you are using it because you think that these stats are going to be used, just remember, these are passive. You don't have to include him in your march. So he takes the number 2 spot. And the last hero for the D tier is Chronicler. Yes, I know Chronicler comes with a lot of great counter boosts, but people still use her. I don't know if they just think that this boost is included. I don't know what people are thinking when they use these heroes, to be honest. But she is a ranged hero, and once again, she brings nothing but the squad attack. And the funny thing is that even though she brings squad attack, a lot of people don't even know what squad attack is or how it works. So they just use her just because she's ranged and they think that she's going to be good for their marches. But she's absolutely not. So this will be the last hero for D tier. These are the heroes that you really should never use unless you have no heroes to choose from whatsoever. Now we move on to the C tier. Now C tier only really has one hero, and that is going to be Bombing Goblin. Now why is that? Well, Bombing Goblin has army attack, which is a 20%, and it is a range hero. That's a lot more than the last 3 we're going to offer you. The one drawback to Bombing Goblin, however, is that army attack is literally all he comes with. So while he could be good for your wall or mixed marches, etc., because the army attack would be great just for an army in general, if we're talking strictly ranged, this is not going to be that great compared to all the other options that are available. So if you are using Bombing Goblin for range specifically, he is going to be the C tier, the only one in C tier, because he only really brings army attack. And it's not even ranged attack, because if it was ranged attack, it would actually be 30% instead of 20%. So, yeah. But the army attack is beneficial, even if it's a ranged march. So, he's the only one that's going to be in the C tier. Now, we're going to move on to the B tier. Unlike Bombing Goblin that has army attack, Snail Princess actually comes with ranged attack. And as you can tell, it is 10% better, which essentially means that it's 50% better than just having the army attack. So it is much better than the Bombing Goblin. So that's why she will be in the B tier, not C tier. The only downside there, though, is that there really is nothing else. It's just the range attack. So nothing really else is included. So B tier, starting off with the Snail Princess. The next one we're going to talk about is Death Archer. Once again, Death Archer is pretty much the same as Snail Princess, comes with range attack 30%. Everything else is pretty irrelevant for marches, etc. So her Snail Princess, one's free to play, one's pay to play. It doesn't really matter which one you use if you're choosing between those two, because they're essentially going to be doing the same thing. Hence why they're in the same tier. But yeah, Death Archer, Snail Princess, if you're trying to see which hero would be best, you really can't go wrong choosing one or the other, because they're going to be doing the same thing. So, and the last hero in the B tier is going to be Black Crow. Now, the one downside to Black Crow is that she does not include any sort of army attack or ranged attack or anything like that. So she doesn't have any sort of attack. She does, however, make up with range max HP 50% and the range defense 50%. Now, unlike the previous two heroes that come with just the attack, this one does come with HP and defense, which does kind of make it a little bit better than just the one. It's just that the HP and defense alone don't really make up the attack. But if you put them together, it becomes pretty comparable. So I would say that Death Archer, that Black Crow, Snail Princess, they're about the same value. Even though Black Crow is more defensive and the other ones are more offensive, at the end of the day, they're going to be giving you just about the same value, hence the same tier. So this is the last one, Black Crow, that's going to be in the B tier. Now we're going to move on to the really good heroes, the ones that you should really try to be using on your marches. Here we go, we're starting with the A tier. The first one is the Ethereal Guide. She is solid. First of all, she comes with range attack 30%, very good. Range defense 50%, also very good. And not only that, she comes with army max HP 25%. Now the only downside is that whenever there is army stats, it's going to be lower than, say, like the range stats specifically. So instead of 50, you're only going to be getting 25, and that's really what takes her down to just the A tier. If it wasn't for that, she would definitely be a tier above. But still, when you think about all of these stats, they're all ranged, they're all useful, and they're all very good. So very strong A tier, almost S tier hero. The next A tier hero is going to be Tracker. Now Tracker also comes with ranged attack 30%, just like the ones before, but unlike them, she also does bring ranged defense 50%. Now, I know that defense, generally speaking, doesn't add too much, but considering how she has the same as the heroes in the previous tier, and now she's also bringing in ranged defense as well, I feel like she's definitely slightly better than the heroes before. So, and not only that, she's free to play, so very easy access. So for sure, Tracker will be an A tier hero. Only thing she's missing is HP, but if she had HP, once again, she would be a tier above. I feel like most of those heroes kind of go through the same thing. They're very solid and probably just missing one little thing to put them in this tier, one tier below S. But with Tracker, she kind of gives you the best of both worlds. Defense, attack, just lacking a bit of HP, so not really the best of the best, but very solid choice either way. The next hero in the A tier is going to be Songstress of the Sea. Now, Songstress, generally speaking, is used more as an army hero for like mixed marches, etc. But take a look at this. All of the stats are army stats, so that means that you're going to get HP, defense, and attack for ranged. The downside, though, however, is that because they're army stats, they're going to be lower than if it was range specific. So instead of getting 30% attack, you're getting 20. Instead of getting 50% HP, you're getting 25, etc, etc. So again, she is a really solid hero, but there is clearly better, and you should really only be using her if you don't have better range heroes. In this case, the ones that we're going to mention here in the S tier. Army heroes are good overall, and they're really good to have as like your main hero, because then you can have your main hero that's army stats, and then the 4 others that will be specific to the march that you're sending. That's why you see a lot of Songstress, Lore Weaver, Berserker, because those are the best army heroes, and then you can fill out the rest of the 4. But Songstress of the Sea definitely fills it out. And the last one actually is Dream Witch. Same scenario. Brings army stats, army HP, army attack. The only difference here is that she does not have army defense. She does have training speed, but when we're talking about marches, the training speed doesn't matter. I would rather have the defense. So Dream Witch will be rounding out the A tier. If you had to pick between the two, obviously Songstress would be the best choice because she will give you all three, whereas Dream Witch only gives you attack and HP, but it's very minuscule. If you have them, use them. If you don't have any of the heroes that we're going to be talking about here soon. Okay, now we've made it, the S tier, the best of the best range heroes that you can use for your marches. We're going to start out with Snow Queen, free to play and super good. Range attack 30%, range max HP 50%. Very solid hero, the best free to play range hero that you can get. If you're sending a range blast, you should always include Snow Queen, unless you're using like 11Ks and whatnot, but like I said, we're not going to be including them here. But Snow Queen for sure is one of the best range heroes in the game, and S tier for sure. The next one in the S tier is going to be Master Cook. Range attack 30%, range max HP 50%, and army defense 25%. So it's very similar to Snow Queen, but it also has the added bonus of having army defense 25%. Again, not a big difference, but certainly a nice addition. And if you can use both Snow Queen and Master Cook, even better. The next one in the S tier for range heroes is Petite Devil. Ranged attack, range max HP, so it's basically another Snow Queen. The downside to this one is unlike Master Cook, she does not have any sort of army defense or range defense, etc. So I would still think that Petite Devil is slightly below Master Cook, but still a lot of people really like Petite Devil, and it's actually a fairly common hero to have at gold, especially if you're pay to play. So if you're using a range blast, Petite Devil, Snow Queen, Master Cook are already some of the top 3 that you can use, and it's really hard to beat those 3. Okay, and the very last one in the S tier, which is the best hero that you can use for range, is Grove Guardian. For obvious reasons. Everything is dedicated to range, meaning that you're going to get the best out of all the stats. You got range max HP 50%, best you can get. Range defense 50%, best you can get. And ranged attack 30%, the best you can get. So Grove Guardian is absolutely S tier, probably S plus tier, because it is the best range hero outside of the 11Ks that you can get. And with that being said, I want to clear something else up, because a lot of people confuse some of this, right? When you're taking a look at your battalions and you go into range, right? Your leader is usually an army hero, but a lot of people think that all your heroes have to be ranged. Remember this: so long as you have 4 dedicated heroes that are whatever troop type that you're going to be sending, so in this case range, you want to have at least 4 ranged heroes, and then my main leader is an infantry one in this case, is completely fine because you have 4 ranged heroes. It will be the same with cavalry. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and show you. Same with cavalry. I have my main hero that is infantry, but it doesn't matter because I have 4 cavalry heroes. Same with infantry. Even though my main hero is infantry, I just go ahead and use the 4 best infantry heroes that I have. And that's why, universally, that's why you want to have an army main hero, because in that case, you don't have to change too much about that one, and you can just fill out the other 4. That's very important when you're doing a march, whether it's range, cav, infantry. Make sure that you have at least 4 of the hero types that you're going to be sending on your march, because if you don't, then you're going to be losing this right here, the squad attack, and that does a considerable amount of damage to the enemy squad and the morale when you're into the battle. So if you go into battle with like 3 range heroes, 1 inf and 1 cav, and it's like a full range march, you're losing a lot of damage just because you're not using that 4th range hero. And the least amount of heroes that you're using that's specific to your blast, the least amount of damage you're going to be doing. So always keep that in mind. Prioritize having 4 of the right heroes over stats that the heroes can give you. So keep that in mind. But either way, let me know if you enjoy this type of videos. I plan to do it as well for cavalry and infantry, and maybe we can dive into some mixed marches, which kind of heroes you want to do for that, and all of that. But yeah, leave some feedback down below, and until later, bye.